Okay. Okay. Can I type? I'm waiting to speak at this thing. And it was supposed to start 2 minutes ago, so I'm just like waiting to speak at this thing virtually. I'm just anxious. Yeah, thanks for being cool. I don't. Is it happening? Wait, are they letting me in? It's like a Zoom meeting, you know, and you're like waiting to get in. I'm nervous. Oh, my dog's leaving. Okay.
When it's time to approve the agenda, right? Okay, great.
Turn my video on.
Hello.
Recording in progress.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Nice to see everybody. Okay, so I think we're ready to get going. We're good? Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the annual general meeting of Unsinkable. As most of you know, my name is Sigrun Watson, and I have the honor of serving as the chair of the board of directors for Unsinkable. And I will be acting as the chair of today's annual general meeting. So before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the Indigenous people of the lands that we are meeting on today. And while we gather virtually, I invite everyone to take a moment to reflect on the traditional territories you're joining from and consider the Indigenous nations with whom you share those lands and responsibilities. I am hosting today's meeting from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Abba, she's at the door.
Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dean peoples, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. This acknowledgement is a small step toward honoring the original occupants, recognizing the oppression faced by Indigenous peoples, and committing to supporting Indigenous communities, employees, contractors, and the broader Unsinkable community. And with that acknowledgement, I'd like to take a moment to very warmly welcome everyone, all who have joined us for our meeting today. Welcome, everybody. Really great to have everyone here with us for our annual general meeting. We do have a quorum with the majority of the members of the corporation being present, and with notice calling the meeting being properly given to each member, each director, and the public accountant in the manner required by law, I now declare the meeting to be constituted for the transaction of business, and I direct that a copy of the notice calling the meeting be attached to the minutes of the meeting. So before we move into the agenda, I'd like to address the notice calling the meeting. As is customary, I'd like to dispense with the reading of this notice and have it attached to the meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the notice calling this annual general meeting?
So moved. It's Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. And do I have a second?
Kathy, I can second.
Thank you very much, Kathy. All those in favor of dispensing with the reading of the notice? Thank you very much. The motion to dispense with the reading of the notice is approved. The notice will be attached to the meeting minutes. Okay, so we'll move into the first item of business, which is the approval of the agenda for today's meeting. Thank you, Taylor. I can see you're getting that up on screen. So that would have been sent out in advance, of course. And so I will just move forward and ask for a motion, please, to approve the agenda as presented. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I can.
Okay, so
Did
I'm
I hear? Okay.
speaking
Thanks,
at this
Carmen.
thing.
And a second, please.
Youth.
Teresa seconded.
Thank you, Teresa.
Like
All
10
in
more
favor?
minutes. Oh my god. Oh my goodness,
The
Whitney.
agenda for today is approved. Wonderful, thank you. So per the agenda, before we get into our items of business and approvals today, we have carved out some time on the agenda to take some time to reflect on the amazing impact that we are having as an organization. Thanks to everyone on this call and many others who volunteer their time and dedicate their time to this wonderful organization across the country. Thanks to our incredible team of employees, contractors, and volunteers, and the entire
Yeah,
Unsinkable
I love
community.
dogs.
So for this segment, we're going to begin by
She's a
sharing
tiny golden
a
doodle.
special video highlighting Unsinkable's impact. And immediately following that, we'll have the opportunity to hear from some very special guest speakers who we're very fortunate to have joining us for the AGM today, all of whom are active members of the Unsinkable community. We have a total of 5 presenters for this segment, 3 of whom are storytellers and have worked with Unsinkable,
Hi.
so Kanchan Rathore, Gregushka Felix, and Rafaela Mancuso, as well as one of our community champions, Joshua Bell, and last but not least, one of our Unsinkable youth facilitators, Felix Orizajo. So welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being with us today and in advance for your presentations. So without further ado, if we're ready to put the video on, then we'll go to the video.
Thank you, Sigrid. I will share my screen. Just a note, so our 2025 impact video, we're just making some final edits to it. So we actually decided to share a different video this afternoon, and then once that one is ready to go, we will share that with all of you. So we are sharing our wavelengths video. Some of you would have seen this from earlier this year. Just to make sure I'm sharing my sound. Also, of note, 2 of the people in this video are in the room with us today.
Whenever I tell a story, I feel like it sets a part of me free. And in that freedom, I find a part of me heals. And I also share my stories in the hope that people will hear those stories also heal.
Sharing your stories are important because oftentimes you feel isolated in your experiences, thinking that you're the only person to go through this thing. But when you begin sharing your narrative and connecting with people, you discover that just as people, we have so much more in common than we have differences. And with that being said, there's nothing new under the sun. So I'm sure that whatever you've experienced, if you take yourself out of your comfort zone and connect with someone, you will definitely find some healing in that, similarly to what we all did tonight.
Being able to share my story with the world helped me find community that I would have never found otherwise. People that understand me and my lived experiences, the things that I thought was wrong with me, that I was broken. That's what's celebrated in these communities, and that would have never happened if I didn't take the chance and share about my lived experience.
The story that I shared was about my father. It was about learning to live with grief and how it transforms and changes us. And when I told it, I really felt not only a weight being lifted, but I felt very grounded in myself as someone who's gone through a lot of things and continues to change and metamorphosize. And having people hear me and see me and listen to me really helped me heal. And in the work that I do, I'm constantly telling stories, my stories, stories of friends or family, like people that led me into their lives. And I think the more we tell stories, the more we connect with each other, the more we kind of engage in our empathy and humanity. And that just brings us closer. And I think that's the great thing about stories, whether it's our own or films or albums or anything like that. A good story is about connecting people to each other and seeing humanity. Whether that's good or bad, but just recognizing we are fundamentally flawed people that ultimately are just trying to live our lives the best way we can.
Stories are ours. Stories are our lived experience. We get to tell our stories, our truth, how we see things, how we see our lives. And when we do that and we break the silence for ourselves, we have this beautiful opportunity to give permission to others to do the same. And that is so beautiful as a gift. And I think stories are one of the most beautiful gifts that you can actually give to anybody. And they're free. So share a story and change a life.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was great. And I agree with your comments, Silken. It's so nice to see that. It reminds us of what we're doing out there and the impact
That
that
was
we're
so
making
cute.
and why we're really here. It's really all about the storytelling, 100%. And it's really nice to see it come to life like that because we can't all be at the events across the country, but it's beautiful to see some of the snippets and just hear from our storytellers through the video. And so for further inspiration and reflection on our impact as an organization, we're just going to segue into our speaker segment, where we will spend the next 30 minutes or so having the pleasure of meeting and listening to 5 inspiring members of our Unsinkable community who've joined us this afternoon, each of whom will be doing a brief presentation for us. And we did get a snippet of what a couple of them are going to share with us through the video.
But my thing's about to
So as
start in
you
a
all
second,
know,
okay?
First of all, Unsinkable Youth is a program built and developed by Youth for Youth.
Oh, someone else is gonna
16
talk
to
first.
26
Okay.
to help them connect both in person and in safe virtual spaces to share their stories, support each other, and get inspired to build community, grow confidence, and promote wellness among youth across Canada. And so next we have our amazing facilitator of the Unsinkable Youth Program with us, Felix Orizajo. Felix, thank you for being with us. And I will pass it over to you to say a few words.
Yeah, I appreciate the intro. It's interesting having all these people like here to listen to what I have to say, but appreciate everyone for coming. And I don't think she's here, but thanks for Maria for inviting me. Yeah, it's been a long journey. I don't know if I have all the right words, but just from what I've experienced, you hear all these like things like, oh, storytelling, like connecting, like putting things out there that are on your heart. And it just is a word, but as you experience, for example, I facilitated, as you experience this, like it comes to life, like actually, and it's very interesting how your life can be transformed by connection. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from
It's an annual general meeting for a mental health nonprofit organization. So they asked me to come speak.
I've always been a bit shy, but I want to share. I have that.
It'll be over soon. It'll be over soon.
And through like, I guess you could call it exposure therapy.
I get scared.
I've learned like the power of having a voice and being able to actually use that voice for good. Like
I'll post this after. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Like somebody
You're such
said
an
in the
angel.
video,
I'll post this after, so you can like
share
come
your
and go, do whatever you
experiences
want.
And
But yeah, I think
like
I'm next.
seeing the power of that, it's kind of reinforced every single belief that I've had about just being empathetic, the power of being sensitive, not pushing yourself into a corner, feeling like you're oversensitive. There's really value in everything, and that's like I think the main takeaway that I've gotten from my year at Unsinkable. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this power can take me, because I really do think it's a superpower. And like having like great mentors on my side as well that have taught me that, like I've opened up to them on like in a private setting, and they're like, you're not crazy, you're on the right path. You have all these experiences, and you have actually different experiences than most. Like this needs to be heard, and yeah, it's honestly like quite magical. So I think that's all I have to share, but I really, really appreciate the organization and their ability to bring these stories to life, honestly. Yeah.
Wow, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Felix, for being you and for being a part of this organization. That was beautiful, beautifully said.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you all know, Unsinkable's impact in mental health is based on sharing stories of hope and resilience, as Felix was just saying, as a means of bridging the gap in mental health. And we wouldn't be able to make the impact we set out to make without the incredible storytellers who lend their personal stories and their time, their commitment, and their heart, which I really see in you, Felix, as you're sharing, to our mission. That's what it's all about. So the second speaker, I'd like to call in on is our incredible Unsinkable Quebec storyteller, Gregushka Felix. Gregushka, I'll pass it over to you.
Well, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
I just want to get it over with.
Like what Felix shared was very touching. Felix, thank you for sharing. The reason why I chose to come in and share my story, you know, I've never thought of me as a storyteller. I'm a very private person. I'm what do we call a social introvert. Give me a mic, I'll do what I need to do, and then I'm out. But when I accepted to come and share in Quebec, first of all, it was the first time I shared in French. I had never shared anything about my story. I had invited 10 people. All of them came. And it's the aftermath of the event that actually touched me. One of them came to see me, a friend that I hadn't seen for a long time. And she said, you know, I didn't go through burnout like you did, but I have a friend who did. And she's grieving and she doesn't know what she's doing. And it broke her. And then she was going through her own story. And she said, I feel alone. And hearing your story allowed me to see that I'm not alone. So I'm sharing that with you as I'm reflecting on, you know, it's been a few weeks, but as I'm reflecting on this moment, I realized that our short story is, and I think it someone said that in the video, it is not just for us to keep, it is for us to share as a community. We are a village at the end of the day. We are a nurturer as human beings, and story connects us. Yes, we all have one. And I think it's the way you share the story, bring the value out of the story so that people don't feel that it's just a victim story, but it actually has an empowerment power. And so that's what Unsinkable brings. It's that empowerment with action. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. And I want to say thank you to Ailey, Alice, and the whole panel, and everyone who trusted me to bring that forward to the community and to allow, and again, to the people that I have had invited, and they found something out of it. So thank you for having me today.
Oh, that was beautifully said, Gregushka. Thank you so much for sharing and being with us today. That was really special. Okay, so I'm going to move on to our next presenter. And so we have another one of our amazing storytellers, specifically from our Wavelengths event. And
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just wondering, are all the storytellers staying on the line while these stories are told? Because I'd like to just address them all collectively at the end. Yeah.
That would be great if everybody could. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so our next presenter, specifically from our Wavelengths event, welcome Rafaela Mancuso. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll pass it over to you.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. So lovely to hear from the other speakers. And yeah, I was in that little video you watched, which is so cute. Can I have a copy? I love it. It feels like a blur. I was so terrified. I mean, honestly, the whole program, as soon as I saw the opportunity came up, I was like excited and terrified, I think at the same time, because I don't know, it just felt so scary. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna push myself, I'm gonna do it. And it was terrifying and beautiful at the same time. And I'm so thankful for Unsinkable and the team for being so comforting and just being there for me as I went through the whole journey of, you know, writing my story and then going to Toronto in a heat wave and get on stage. I was freaking out. Everyone was like, oh, you were so confident. No, I was freaking out. It's all fake. It's all a lie. But that's the cool thing is you don't have to wait until you're super confident or it's perfect. I think I literally wrote it the day before. Don't tell anyone else that. But things like that, it's like I've always waited until things were perfect or I feel ready enough to do something. And so being able to do this and it felt honest to me and my lived experience, my story. So being able to say like, oh my gosh, like I did it. I went on that stage and I talked in front of people, and I think it's the most vulnerable thing I've ever shared in my life, and I talk a lot. So yeah, it's just been such a beautiful thing in my life, and I'm so grateful to Unsinkable and everyone. And it's just another thing to push me forward of like, okay, I did that, terrifying but amazing. what else can I do now? Like, how else can I use my story to help someone else? And yeah, I'm excited for whatever comes next. And again, I'm just so grateful to be a part of this beautiful community.
That's amazing. I think the authenticity that comes from that, and just your authenticity in showing up and telling us, what, I was terrified and you still did it. And, that you trusted in Unsinkable as an organization too, and all of you did, to share something, really, really deeply personal to you. And it can be terrifying. So, that takes a ton of courage. And we're all really grateful, and we wouldn't be able to have the impact that we have, plain and simple, without that courage and commitment. So thank you so much, Rafaela. Okay, so moving on to someone from our Community Champions group. So our Community Champions, as everyone knows, are Unsinkables ambassadors for mental health. They are the leaders who use their lived experience and storytelling to strengthen connection, challenge stigma, advance mental well-being, ultimately across communities and workspaces through doing that. And today we have the privilege of having Joshua Bell with us today, our community champion, to say a few words. Joshua, thanks so much for being with us today. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, no problem. I'm very happy to be here. Hi everyone, my name is Joshua Bell. I'm the chair of the Mood Disorder Society's National Youth Advisory Council, but also a very proud community champion since 2023. Wearing the sweater here today, the new one, repping it all the time. Very happy to join you all here today. I first shared my story with Unsinkable, if I remember right, back in 2021, after a suicide attempt in a time of really high anxieties in both personal life, and also during that transition period for many youth, that time from high school into university, that change of life period. And Unsinkable then and still now is a place where many people with lived experience, like myself, with anxiety, with poor mental health and mood disorders and things like that, have an opportunity to come to share their story without change, to be authentically them, pardon me, in their story, in their storytelling, and share their journey with others. And Unsinkable was able to do that for me back in 2021 when I first shared my story, and still do that now. In 2022, or a few months later, I shared a follow-up story with Unsinkable, reflecting on kind of the progress that I've made at that time. And once again, Unsinkable was very gracious in the amount of writing room that they let me take up on their blog at that time. So thank you for that space. Since then, I've kind of been involved with Unsinkable a little bit, and I've seen the organization kind of grow from that community champion standpoint, where we're always talking about Unsinkable. I know me personally, every single time that I talk about mental health stuff with the Mood Disorder Society Canada, or some of the other stuff I do, Unsinkable is one of the very first organizations that I'm mentioning for that personal lived experience, that authentic storytelling and story sharing. And I'm really happy and really proud to see Unsinkable grow so much since my first story was shared in 2021. And I'm looking forward to continuing to see Unsinkable grow as an organization right across Canada. Who knows, maybe we'll see you guys across the world next year too. But other than that, I'm really happy to be here today, really happy to have had the opportunities to share my stories that I've had, and continue to be involved with Unsinkable as a community champion, right here from my beautiful city of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Wow, Joshua, thank you so much. And it touches my heart to hear you talk about what brought you to Unsinkable. The very difficult times that you must have been through to have a suicide attempt in your background. And as a parent, that's, of course, we all really worry about it, because sometimes everyone can feel like it look like they're doing great and they're really not doing great, because we're not, all of us go through times where we're absolutely not doing great. And it's incredible how somebody's pain and struggle can really turn into something beautiful for the world, that you can give the world. So thank you for that. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Do we have Kenshin joining us, Haley, or do we want to move to the next?
I don't see her here, so maybe we want to go forward.
Okay, so again, and I'm going to pass it over to you, Silken. I know you wanted to say a few words for our presenters, and I just want to first say a big thank you to all of our amazing presenters today for sharing with us at this meeting, and most of all for your support, your commitment, and your courage and your heart. in helping us change the mental health landscape in Canada through the power of your storytelling. And I'm going to just compose myself a little while so I can.
I think you're kind of reflecting how we're all feeling, and it's so powerful to hear from our storytellers, from our champions. We're sitting on a board. There's very practical things we do, like attend meetings and raise money and approve budgets. And sometimes it's just nice to hear that purpose, and it's you folks that are the purpose. Joshua, I remember when you came on board, and it was just really the start of the COVID nightmare, and you were in high school, and it's so cool to see you and the young man you've become. And I remember that time very well, you recovering from both your dad's death by suicide and your own issues around your mental health and all the things that were going on in your life. If I'm getting it all accurate, it's been a while. So it's beautiful that, as Sigrid said, you've been able to turn this very difficult time, and it sounds like you've become a champion in many, many ways, including being part of the chair, I should say, of the Mood Disorder Society. So thank you. And all of you, Rafaela, like your vulnerability, how terrified you are. I think all of us, there's quite a few people on our board actually that does speaking, and I think we can contend that you never actually get totally over the terror. I think there's always something about, wanting to show up authentically. And thank you so much for putting yourself out there. And Felix, I love how you talked about the superpower aspect, because I think you're really touching upon something we don't talk about enough, which is that transformation that can happen as we kind of become more open and vulnerable and start talking about it, and how we can come into our strength fully. Because I think a lot of the time it's the unresolved parts of ourselves that take away our power. And to emerge from that and actually realize, like, wow, you're free now. You do have this superpower. And I really do think you're young still. You're really going to find your life unfolding in a powerful way. And Greg Gusha, I really love how you also talked about the aftermath, like what happens after. So it's not just the event and the hard, but also transforming power of being up there on stage or writing down or however you choose to share. But it's also the people in your life who understand you differently, because it sounds like you had 10 people in the audience who knew you quite well. And, to hear you all at once, share what you're going through. And I can certainly relate to that and how it transforms everybody around you. And then also, in life beyond that event, to really understand how just that one experience of sharing opens you up to other experiences of sharing and transforms your life in a really powerful way. So I just been very moved by what you've all shared, and I think the whole board has, if you don't mind me speaking on your behalf there. So thank you all, not just for taking the time today, but for being involved in our organization, for helping us on the board to remind ourselves and to feel that connection.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Silken, for those words, and it allowed me to compose myself a little, which is wonderful. I think you absolutely spoke for the board with those comments, Silken, and I'm so glad that we started this annual general meeting with what matters most. And what a great example of how we're touching hearts across the country and getting people to self-reflect and feel less alone. And build resilience. So thank you so much again to all of you who joined to share your stories. And with that, we will move to our action items for today's annual general meeting, starting with a resolution acknowledging Kate Nazar's resignation as a director and member of the corporation. So first, on behalf of the board and the entire Unsinkable community, I want to thank Kate for her passion for Unsinkable.
Am I allowed to leave the meeting?
Dedication, her tireless
Can I leave the meeting?
Serving as the chair of the board of Unsinkable.
Is it rude to leave?
Director, her contributions to and impact on Unsinkable were immense, and
Oh,
she
that was scary.
will be missed. I know she'll be a part of Unsinkable forever, but we do have to go forward with the approval, and so can I ask for a motion to approve Kate Nazar's resignation as a director and member of the corporation, please? And I can't see everyone, so if you could get a shout out.
Andrew?
Thank you so much. And I saw a second from Emma, and all in favor? Thank you. So Kate's resignation as director and member of the corporation is approved. And so
I think
we'll
I
now
can
move
go.
to the financial statements of the corporation.
No, I don't.
for the year
Okay, wait.
ended- Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you. We need to approve the minutes from the last AGM.
I
forgot to do
don't
that.
know if anyone's left. Okay, wait.
Okay, thank you.
One,
Okay.
two. No, the other speakers
So the
haven't
minutes did go out.
left.
Can I get a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the corporation, for the AGM of the corporation?
Oh,
that
one
occurred
left.
on
One left.
January of 2025.
I can probably leave
please.
too.
I'm happy to make that motion. There were no last minute amendments or anything?
No, no last minute
I think I
amendments.
can leave, right? I don't want to be rude.
Thank you, and a second, please.
Okay, one person left. I need to make sure she left, so I'm not the only one
Kathy.
leaving.
Thank you, Kathy.
I think I
And
can
all
leave,
those in
right?
favor?
Right.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Yeah, I would
And
leave.
So the
Okay.
minutes are approved. Okay, so now we'll move to the financial.
Yeah, financial. I don't care about
statements.
finances. Okay, I left. I left. That was so scary. 35 minutes. 35 minutes. Thank you for staying and experiencing that with me. That was terrifying, but I think it was okay. The person I was like talking to who was like organizing this like wasn't even there. So that was scary, but it's good. Now I need to like take a breath. I'm so hot. I need to go stand outside or something. I get so when I'm anxious, I just get like so hot and sweaty. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Ah, you're so sweet. I never even go live, so super weird. I don't know. Life happens. Maybe I need to put myself out there more, like I kind of said. I get so scared, but yeah. Thank you so much. You're so sweet, Molly Ollie. Yeah, I think I need to go decompress, and thank you for being here and witnessing this with me, and we'll hang out again sometime. Yeah, okay? Does that sound good? Yeah, so stick around, subscribe, and then, I don't know, we can talk, and if you like doing lives, we could do more lives. I don't know. Send me a message if you want. Instagram, I reply fastest on Instagram if you want to like connect at all, okay? Okay, you're the best.